yeah, baby. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're all doing well. Really do hope that. Welcome to what I think is the first match review of the season, maybe? Chelsea won a football match behind closed doors against Peterborough. They scored lots of goals. Hakim Ziyech, the Wizard of London, scored a hat-trick. And we're going to talk about it. I've just quickly pulled up an article on football.london by Adam Newson, the Chelsea writer, and we're going to go through it together and talk about who scored the goals, who featured, what happened, and it's going to be really interesting. I just quickly glanced down the article and it looks appropriate for this video, but I didn't read it first because I want to react organically and naturally with you, my friends, my dear sweet viewers here on Football Therapy, in what is an exciting result-ish. Yes, it's behind closed doors and all that, but you know, I'm feeling good. It's a positive. I've got myself a G&T. Other brands are available. It's hot and lovely where I live, so it's superb. Consider subscribing if you think you might like this content. Obviously, there's daily Chelsea news videos, which are a different, more highly edited format. And then you've got videos like this where I sit at my desk and react to stuff. And you might dig it, friends. So thank you for joining me and liking and subscribing and all that. So let's look at this article. I just need to make sure it's aligned well, yeah. Ziyech nets hat-trick. Mendy and Kepa absent. So yeah, none of the first team goalkeepers playing. 11 things we spotted in Chelsea versus Peterborough. The Blues took on the championship side behind closed doors friendly at Cobham. Cool, so it's at Cobham. And there's Ziyech. There he is, our boy, the Wizard of Amsterdam, come Wizard of London. Nice to see he scored a hat-trick because he really is a quality player that needs to announce himself in this Chelsea team. Yes, he scored big goals for us, like in the Champions League and against Man City and stuff, but he's a quality player that needs to find his space, his position in many ways at under Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel stays with the tried and trusted. Going into pre-season, there was plenty of intrigue as to which system Tuchel would work on ahead of the new campaign. But with so many first team stars absent due to their involvements in the European Championship and the Copa America, there has been little point in the German working hard on shape and structure so far. So it looks like he remains with the same system. And that is perhaps why Tuchel opted to stick with his 3-4-2-1 system for today's contest, at least in the opening period of the game. To be honest, although I personally would like him to train another shape just so he's got it in the locker, he's got it in the chamber when we need it. I don't expect him to change a formation of what we've just used to win, the Champions League. Chelsea, so yeah, no Mendy or Kepa. Chelsea's two senior goalkeepers have been back at Cobham this week, but neither featured in today's game, as Tuchel opted to look at a couple of the club's young stoppers. Yeah, so I thought he would want to play these guys just to get them sharp as quick as possible, but I guess with goalkeepers, they're a known quantity, and yeah, it kind of makes sense, I suppose, to look at the kids and see what they're saying. Oh, look, Erling Haaland's transfer saga. Okay, so Jamie Cumming played the opening hour of the contest and kept a clean sheet before being replaced by Lucas Bergstrom for the final 30 minutes. Chelsea lost 6-1, I believe, so in that final 30 minutes, Lucas would have conceded the one. Okay, so the boss speaks to Malang Sarr. Had things worked out differently, then Sarr would have been involved in today's game. Okay, so he wasn't. Last month, let me just see, you can read that, yeah. Last month, the centre-back was called up by France for the Olympic Games in Tokyo. However, the decision was subsequently taken for him to miss the tournament and remain with Chelsea. It's not clear who made that call, but the Blues didn't have to give Sarr permission to travel. Interesting. Well, after Malang Sarr's interview, which I spoke about today on this morning's video on Chelsea News, he seems very, very driven to make an impact here. Obviously, Thomas Tuchel speaks French, so they can have proper in-depth conversations about what he wants from a centre-back And he looks really, or he sounds really, really driven, and he really has got that desire to properly like impose himself in the Chelsea team, which is cool because he's a left-footed centre back and he's very, very strong and stuff. So it's good that that's happening. Started pushing to travel. It's resulted in the 22-year-old having trained with Chelsea this week, and he is understood to have started on the left of a back three for today's game. Also, he did feature, and yeah, like I spoke in this morning's video, the left footer on the left side. And during the contest, the Frenchman received some advice from the watching Tuchel on the touchline, and there they are talking. Qu'est-ce que tu fais maintenant, Milan? Qu'est-ce que c'est ça? Je suis désolé, coach. Whatever. Trevor Chalobah pushes. Nice. Trev in the team. Having impressed with Ligue 1 side Lorient last season, lovely scenes, there was always an expectation that Chalobah would return to Chelsea this summer and push for a place in the first team setup. Hoping that I was always sad that we sold Nate Chalobah, because there was a time he looked like an important first team player under Conte. I'll never forget that back heel assist that he did to, was it Victor Moses, when he just turns and back heels it. It's ruddy wicked. The academy graduate shone for the French club in a holding midfield role, but today was used in the back three, with the Blues somewhat short of centre back options, with Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Christensen, Silva and Zuma having not yet returned. Well, I imagine he was in the middle of a back three, which is kind of CDM-y. You got players like Andres Christensen, who plays in the middle of the back three and has played CDM. Centre back and David Luiz as well has done both of those. Just, examples. Centre back is not an unfamiliar position for Chalobah, but he's unlikely to get into Tuchel's plans in that role. In the role that interests his services this summer, is mounting. Football.London understands 2 clubs in the next season's Europa League are interested in the 22-year-old. Yeah, maybe if we see him in some European football, that would be a good loan for him, I reckon. Ross Barkley goes again. It's been 3.5 years since Barkley swapped Everton for Chelsea. Oh man, what could have been? In a time under various different coaches, he's been unable to cement a spot in the Blues starting 11. He had started sometimes for Frank, and he had sometimes started for Sarri as well. Sarri and Kovacic would always swap on 60 minutes or whatever, but sometimes it was Barkley that started rather than Kovacic. So he has had times in the starting lineup. The decisions were taken last season that Barkley should spend the 2021 campaign at Aston Villa, and the 27-year-old made a bright start, starring in a shock 7-2 win against Liverpool. Do you remember that? The scenes, that seems so long ago, doesn't it? That literally seems so long ago, but what a game that was. And at the beginning of his loan at Aston Villa, Barkley looked like he was on flames, do you know what I mean? So I think he got injured and probably got into more trouble if memory serves. Unfortunately, the injury, there you go, derailed Barkley's momentum as he ended the campaign on the Villa bench. And back at Chelsea once again, he will be hopeful of impressing Tuchel and earning his place in the first team squad. He could do. I mean, he's fast and strong, and he takes on instruction really well. Like, Sarri loved that from Ross Barkley. So maybe he can do it with Tuchel. They're both like super tactical nerds, those coaches. The Liverpool-born midfielder started the first half playing the opening 45 minutes of the game at Cobham. Right, here's where it takes a turn. Danny Drinkwater features. It was the transfer deadline day in the summer of 2017. Chelsea signed Drinkwater from Leicester City in a deal worth £30 million. Hold on, I'm just got to drink some more gin. It's safe to say that's proven a poor piece of business. Drinkwater has just played 23 games for the Blues and has spent the last 2 seasons on loan at Burnley, Aston Villa and Kasim Pasa. Oh yeah. Neither of those stints away from Stamford Bridge were hugely successful. Now 31 years old, it seems unlikely that the midfielder has a long-term future at Chelsea, but he was still given the opportunity to impress Tuchel against Posh. Yeah, he's in the last 12 months. He's not going anywhere. He gets paid like 100k at Chelsea a week. He's not going anywhere, and I doubt he'll play. And so does Baker. Lewis Baker, friends. Jeez. It's now 7 years since Jose Mourinho boldly declared that if Baker doesn't play for England, then the blame should fall at his feet. Well, here we are, Jose. Loving this article so far. Now 26 years old, Baker remains a Chelsea player that still has 1 year left on his contract. He's been working with the first team group this week and has got a second half of today's game, but you sense his long-term future is away from Stamford Bridge. An incredibly two-footed player, Baker. Very, very good on the ball, and a lot of people who know him better than I will remain very frustrated that it never worked for Lewis Baker at Chelsea Football Club. Sadly. Hakim Ziyech makes the ideal start. Here we go. Partly due to injury, partly due to loss of form, and partly due to Tuchel selection choices, Ziyech's first campaign at Chelsea, following a move from Ajax, didn't go as planned. Also, that's missing there. Remember, the Eredivisie ended super early, and he hadn't played football in ages. They just crowned Ajax champions. Either that, or they cancelled the season. Regardless, they curtailed it really early, and there was no football played for so long, so that would massively affect Ziyech. He made only 21 starts in all competitions and scored only 6 goals, although among those were crucial strikes against Atletico Madrid and Man City, and in the FA Cup and Premier League. Yeah, exactly. Like I said earlier, he scores important goals still. Ziyech, who has been mentioned as a possible target for AC Milan this summer. Geez, they're just taking all our players, Milan. That would be the third player after Giroud and Tomori, but I can't see that. We'll hope to have a better 21-22 campaign, and he made the best possible start, scoring a second half hat-trick to ensure the Blues completed a comfortable victory. Callum Hudson-Odoi gets his chance. The last 2 seasons haven't been easy for Hudson-Odoi, yet there is no doubt the 20-year-old can blossom into a star at Chelsea. I've been talking about Tottenham in another video. After Tuchel's arrival last term, Hudson-Odoi was utilised predominantly as a wing-back, not his preferred role, before dropping out of the starting 11 in the latter weeks of the campaign. If Chelsea are to see the best of the academy graduate, it is likely to be from his favoured role on the left of the attack, cutting in on his right boot. And that's the position in which he was deployed in the first half against Peterborough this lunchtime. That's good. I think he also has been used really well on the right wing, whether it's Sarri, Lampard or Tuchel, because he can put in really good crosses with his right boot rather than cutting in, even if his preferred role is left wing. Okay, we're getting through it now, the last 2 bits, ladies and gentlemen. Armando Broja off the mark. After a solid loan spell away from Chelsea at Vitesse last term, some had felt Broja would be capable of making the step up to provide first-team cover for Tuchel this season. Indeed, loads of Chelsea fans are thinking that. That is unlikely to appeal to the young forward, whose rapid development could be stalled without regular game time for the next 12 months. A decision over Broja's future will be taken later this summer, but in his first outing in pre-season, he found the back of the net for the Blues. I'd like a Premier League loan for Broja if there are any Premier League clubs that would take him. Failing that, a Championship loan, because then he'll take the Mason Mount route. Vitesse, Championship, Premier League. Why not do the same? There's no shame in going down to the Championship. Tammy Abraham proves a point. The future of the 23-year-old forward remains subject of speculation after Tuchel's appointment at the end of January. Abraham lost his place in the starting 11 and, partly due to injury, played just 17 minutes during the final 3 months of the campaign. That is pretty shocking. You can understand. I mean, he's hugging the coach as they arrive for pre-season and stuff, so he'll be like, come on, give me another chance, Gaffer. Do you know what I mean? But there we have it. A comfortable win behind closed doors, things you love to see, youngsters given a chance, Ziyech scoring a hat-trick, and Danny Drinkwater in the midfield. Only joking! Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Do you like these kind of videos, me reacting to games like this? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be keen to learn that. I really enjoy doing them. Subscribe if you're new. Like the video, enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.